Okay, so deep breaths. A lot of frustration. A lot of frustration on the trail today, and it's all people caused. And I really don't understand how things evolved the way they did. I've got some guesses and some speculation, but I really don't have the facts. At this moment, I'm not sure they matter. I think what matters is to chill out, relax, reboot for the day. As I promised, here I am on early Sunday morning editing Saturday's footage, day 10 footage. Yeah, I did do a little bit yesterday, but decided to save most of it for this morning. So today I'll be double dipping, doing yesterday's and today's footage this morning, and then later again this evening. So I just want to give you a little heads up that today's footage is a little bit more human than some of the other footage, I guess, has been. You'll understand that as we start on the trail. There is definitely still some wheeling footage and some trail footage, but it was a rough day on the trail today, as you may get from the opening that you saw. And we'll let it speak for itself. I wasn't sure what footage I was going to use. Wasn't sure if I was going to use any of it. You'll see some of that in the footage that you'll watch. But I just decided in the end, let's tell the story of what the day was. So this is day 10, my day 4 of wheeling in Hurricane, and the human side of what happened yesterday. So here we are. It's day 4 of the Winter 4x4 Jamboree, day 10, I think, on my Hurricane trip. And we are in line and waiting to get started. And really just showed up. It's 33 degrees, so it's a cool morning again, but it's supposed to be in the high 50s by the time we hit lunch. And so this is going to be West Rim, which I hear is a great trail. Scenic, a little technical, and just a lot of fun. So looking forward to it, and we'll see you out all on the trails. So as you can see, the ride started off pretty normal. We got on the trail, things were going well. First obstacle seemed like a neat one. I've got a lot of footage of it, but here we are just kind of climbing up this rock that just goes on forever and ever. And it's got lots of little steps on it that just need a little bit of technical ability to climb over, and a couple of bigger steps that were a bit of a challenge. You could always pick a line that was a little bit easier, but you'll see right here toward the end of the video, the little Jeep in front of me was struggling to get up this big step and bounced once, and apparently came down a little hard, and something went wrong on his rig. And you can see he backed up and almost hit me because something just wasn't right. And then he gave it another go, and again, something wasn't right. And eventually he just had to get out because, as he said, something was knocking around in the back and sounded terrible. And we found out what it was. So as you saw, or as I'll show you now, maybe in that picture, that was a snapped rear drive shaft. And the end of his day, which is a bummer. I've actually wheeled with him Jeep in Texas a couple of times, and neat guy, but fortunately there's rescue and someone will be there for him. And let me wheel down my window here. Oh, absolutely. Looks like we've been left from our leaders. We don't know where we're going.
Yeah, we're the gray.
Okay. All right. All right. We're continuing on now. That might stop the whole group. I don't know if they're going to keep going or what'll happen. I'm going to wheel up and catch up with the group at least. So let's see what we find. I think people are now going back to help them out. But that's the problem with such a big group. When you're a small group, you stay tight and someone's always going to be there. And we saw that yesterday. Today, it seemed like, you know, there was 5 minutes where, you know, he's calling out saying, broke my drive shaft. Is there anyone going to help me? And it took a little while, but it looks like he's going to get helped. And that's good. So I'm just crawling on. And, as I said, just trying to catch up to the leaders. Yeah, I don't know. This honestly looks like we've been left in the dust by our leaders, which just should not happen. Because I have no clue where we're supposed to be going right now. Do I go up the right? Do I go up the left? Huh? I think we'll go up the left. One of the rules in wheeling is you never lose sight of the person behind you, and clearly someone violated that, because I'm not the leader. So let's see what happens when I get up over this ridge. Hopefully everyone will be stopped here and we'll get back together as a group. So I have lost sight of the people behind me. Actually, they just took a different line. I can see them. So I'm just gonna pull up here and I think I'll regroup with them and we'll figure out what we want to do. I don't know, maybe I climb up to the top again? Nah, I'm gonna stop and talk to this Rubicon behind me and I'll get back to you. Alright, so we're moving again. I'm jumping in behind this Cherokee, this Wrangler in front of me. Yeah, he said, you know, everyone should have stopped. He doesn't know why they didn't stop. There are people who are helping out techs, which is good. And I think he's a local. He's been here, been on the trail. He knows what he's doing, this guy. So we're following him, and he's supposed to bring us to the leaders. Or at least, as he said, they were supposed to have stopped. I don't know why they haven't. Again, I think it could be because we're a really big group and they want to keep things moving, but they're not even chatting over the CB.
We're kind of falling behind here.
There you go. It's coming across the CB now. People saying, we're stopped. So, we'll keep going and, yep, we'll follow up. All right, I'm back. I'm just a few minutes later. I'm just bummed. I'm bummed because, first obstacle of the day.
Okay, did you have a copy?
It's literally 9:30 in the morning. We've been on the trails for a half an hour, and they lost their trail.
People falling behind.
They lost their drive shaft, and it put an end to their day. They got to get back to Texas, but I'm guessing in a place like Hurricane, It'd be pretty easy to get someone to replace your drive shaft. It just might take a day or so. All right, moving on. What's ended up happening is we've lost our half our group. Apparently I was in the middle. I thought I was a little bit closer to the front, but who knows. We got about 15 rigs to 20 that are here with us. There's another bunch that are up ahead. We've lost radio contact with them. So fortunately, some of the folks with us, as I said, are local. And just a little update. So we're doing good, but we've split up. We've lost half the group. Half the group went ahead. Half the group has stayed behind just to connect. We're lucky, or we're fortunate that we got a bunch of locals, and the guy who now is right in front of me is going to be leading. He's been a tail gunner on some runs so far this week, but he hasn't led, but he's fully capable, so he'll be leading us. We've waited here and let everybody who was behind me regroup, and we're ready to rock and roll. So let's get everyone back in their rigs, and I'll check in a little bit later down the trail. What a way to start the day, though. So at this point, we carried on for a little while. Things were going pretty well until we got to a spot that we were pretty uncomfortable in. We found ourselves down on the edge of a cliffside, which is where the trail went. But it got to a point where to get back up to the main trail was an obstacle that a lot of people were getting stuck on, and it was right on the edge of a cliff. And we got to a point where myself and everyone who was behind me and down in our area were uncomfortable continuing on where we were. We did not want to keep going. We didn't feel we could safely do the obstacle that was ahead of us. If it was on flat or if there wasn't a cliff, we certainly would have attempted it. But where your mistake led to potentially going over the cliff edge versus just rolling over, really just was not something we were comfortable doing. Fortunately, we put our heads together without a leader. We talked, we discussed, we found an alternate route, we determined how we would get to it, and we were able to do it, and actually relatively easily got ourselves out. But we were frustrated because we never should have been in that situation to begin with. All right, so, whew, I don't know if I'm going to use any of this footage, but we got to a point where none of us wanted to do where we just were, and we were on a cliff edge, and again, we've got no leadership today, so it's been really disappointing. And all us drivers got together and we're just like, okay, how the heck do we want to handle this, because this is a mess. And we found an alternate route, and that's just what we do, and we did. And thankfully, oh god, it was a piece of cake. So why we were stuck down in the blankety blank hole that we were stuck in was not cool. But we're getting through it, taking our deep breaths. As I said, I don't think I'll use this footage.
Did you get your radio working?
So what are we learning today?
It's working.
What are we learning today?
That way I can get in contact with it. I'm going to skip all that so we can catch up.
Because, yeah. What are we learning today? That's the ultimate question. So what did we learn? Well, one thing is that life is more valuable than doing crazy ass stupid stuff. We're gonna stop and think every once in a while and figure out what's the smart choice. 2, leadership. Leadership is essential. Yep, it certainly helps to follow someone who knows what they're doing and has been there before. Keeps you out of trouble. When you can't do that, it helps to at least have an organizational structure. So there's people who are authorized to make decisions and are able to work with the larger body to make sure that the body wants to make that decision too, or at least find something that's acceptable. Utter and complete chaos, not always such a good thing. What else have we learned today? Beauty can exist in the presence of grief, sorrow, frustration, anger, or any other of those emotions. Okay, so deep breaths. A lot of frustration. A lot of frustration on the trail today, and it's all people caused. And I really don't understand how things evolved the way they did. I've got some guesses and some speculation, but I really don't have the facts. At this moment, I'm not sure they matter. I think what matters is to chill out, relax, reboot for the day. Yeah, it's going to be hard to reboot, but still early. It's only 10:30 in the morning, and we got a lot of wheeling ahead of us. So let's start over. It's going to be a good day. And if it's not, it's just one of many days that make up a life. It's not going to be a bad day. It's just not necessarily going to be the day that I hoped it would be. I think we'll be moving out shortly. From that point on, we continued on our day and continued on the trail. Took us about another hour or so. We eventually did meet up with the rest of the group. We continued on the trail then and had some wonderful obstacles where we had leadership, where we had spotters, where we had people with us who knew what they were doing, and things went much more smoothly from then on. I do have some of that footage. I'm not going to use it here because I think this video is already getting well long enough. But hopefully I'll use it maybe some other time. Yep, so that happened. And I just felt it was important to kind of share that. It's part of the trip. It's part of my memories. It's part of my experience here in Hurricane. It's up to us to decide what it is we'll take from it and how to handle the challenges that we face each day. So we'll continue on here with the rest of our video. I realize I'm sitting here with my face in the shade. Hopefully the camera is picking things up well enough. I didn't feel like having it in my eyes today, and I wanted to give you just a sense of the view that is going on around me here. We're broken for lunch, and we're gonna be here a little while, so I thought I'd take the opportunity and share some of the later videos that I often record at this time. Our music for today, I'm going to stick with our regular theme, or what we've been doing the last few days, which is sharing a song that's meaningful to me, but also relevant for important people in my life, my immediate family, my family of origin, and my nuclear family now. And so today, I'm actually, and I'm going to do this, kids. I hope you don't mind, Seth and Jesse. I'm going to do you guys together. You're going to get 2 days, but I'm going to do you together. And that's because so much of the music and the songs that remind me of each of you guys are things that we sang together as a family or enjoyed together or that you guys shared with me together. So I hope you don't mind. You're still going to get your 2 days, but I'm going to do you two together. The other reasoning is because one of the songs is a kid's song, and I didn't want to pick one of you guys, and probably would have ended up being Seth, and I didn't think it was fair to give Seth a kid's song by himself. So that's what we're going with today. On our family vacations and family trips, we sang all the time in our cars. We didn't have TVs. The kids didn't have gaming things to do. They had lots of things to play in the car, but they didn't have electronics, I'll say, in the car. So we would listen to stories, we would listen to songs, and we would sing a lot. And so I'm going to go with a song from VeggieTales, Jonah and the Whale, which was one of our family's favorite movies and soundtracks to listen to. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't care what age you are, go see the movie. It's well done, great music, good animation. It's VeggieTales, Jonah and the Whale. But the song, there's so many good songs I can pick from that, and I'm tempted to pick things, especially while wheeling, things like Drive Into the River Bob. You could always pick Billy Joe McGuffrey, but instead, I'm going to go with the theme song. I'm going to go with Jonah Was a Prophet, because that was one that we loved to sing. We had a blast. So go ahead and check out the YouTube link below. Jonah Was a Prophet, fun song. And I still enjoy singing it to this day. So thank you, Seth and Jesse, for singing with Mom and Dad in the car and just having lots of fun. So many family times that we've shared. And I look forward to sharing a second song tomorrow that also has a lot to do with Jesse and Seth. And so, yep, look forward to that. So our spiritual thought for today. We're at lunch still on the trails, so I haven't been able to go back and see some of my videos, but I'm assuming by this point in the video you know that there was some frustration and challenges, not wheeling challenges, although they were there, but people challenges on today's ride. And it really, what I've realized afterward being, we're at lunch now, after having gone through that and had another hour or so on the trails, was it really all boils down to communication. We had some significant communication breakdowns on the trail today, starting right at the beginning when we had the broken rear drive shaft. The fact that the leaders just kept on going. And I don't think they intended to. I think there was a communication gap. Something wasn't working. A CB, either someone didn't have one, or it wasn't working, or it wasn't on, or we've had that challenge, and that's continued throughout the whole ride. We have had very, very little CB communication today. And we've got 30 to 35 rigs on the ride, which is 10 more than we're supposed to have. And that's just led to a real lack of communication. We've been fractured into multiple groups, people getting lost, people's vehicles breaking, and a lot of that shouldn't happen. Well, let me back up. Obviously, when you go wheeling, you expect some of that to happen. Some of it not getting lost, but breaking stuff, damage to vehicle. We all sign waivers. We all acknowledge that that's a very real part of the sport or the hobby that we're engaged in. But the lack of help when some of that happens, the getting lost, the just feeling lost even when we aren't lost, not knowing where the leaders are, it was frustration building up. I'm moving on. But it all came down to communication and a lack of communication. And it reminds me of how important communication is in our lives, whether it be in our marriages, in our friendships, in our life in the church, in our life at work. Communication is essential. It's just real important. I remember when I interviewed, probably my second interview, may have been my first interview at Barrington. One of the questions was, what is one of the big gifts that I bring? And at that point, I said communication, that it was just something that was real important to me. And hopefully, I've continued to be one that people feel free to communicate with, and I've been decent enough at communicating back, because I know, and we experience today, how difficult things can be when communication breaks down. So think about your styles of communication and the people that you need to or would benefit from better communication with in your life. And is there a way to jumpstart that communication? Is there a way to share, to listen, to hear, and be heard? So think about that. And I know that's not specifically a spiritual thought, but everything about our faith and everything about being a community of faith revolves around communication. And certainly we, believe in communicating with one another, communicating our faith, communicating what we're going through, communicating with God, listening and talking to and with. So think about your communication and the role that it plays in your life, and also understand that we're all fallible, as are the leaders on this ride and other things. I mean, we're all human. I don't know exactly what happened, but it easily, potentially could have happened to me as well. So that's where grace can come in a little bit as well. So a little bonus thought for the day is a little grace with your communication. I don't know how much there is to add anymore, other than to say thank you so much again for tuning in, for following along with my trip to Hurricane and back. And I look forward to sharing with you some more. Thank you for your patience in letting this video come out later. It did allow me to have a little bit of a chill day tomorrow. And at this point, I think I'm gonna go shave. And I'll see you later tonight when I record today's videos. So have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.